What's up guys and girls, welcome to another video. In today's video, I want to talk about Thor's hammer. I think we may have gotten a small hint that we are going to use it, and I want to talk about that here in this video. But before we get into it, here are some of the correct answers in the previous God of War video. Now this was a trick question that tricked absolutely nobody because only 3 people got it wrong in that video, so good for you if you got it correct. This video trivia question is, which God of War game did Kratos say this line? But my path is now clear to me. I will serve them, and they will keep their promise to free me from my past. Type your answers now and hit the like button while you're down there. And if you get the answer right and you hit the like button, you have a chance on being in the next God of War video. Also, I want to start revealing the answer in the next God of War video rather than the ending of this one to prevent cheaters. And out of 5,000 people, 80% voted for me to change it this way. So there we go. So let's get on to the video. This theory comes from Thor, who found out this hint and told me. Thank you for pointing this out, I really do appreciate it. Her Twitter link will be in the description of this video. When the release date trailer dropped, Santa Monica did an unboxing of the collector's edition. We actually got to look of the exact replica of Mjolnir. But the art director also went on Twitter to show us another angle of the hammer. We are given much more detail of the design, and it seems it might be customizable. On the hammer part itself, it has what it looks like slots. We see 3 indentations on the hammer part itself, 2 smaller ones and 1 bigger one. On the handle part of the hammer, we see 3 more slots. And at the very bottom, the tip of the hammer, we see a gold design that seems separate from the hammer itself. Now here is an image of the Leviathan Axe in God of War 2018, and let's compare them side by side. On the handle of the Leviathan Axe, you see the 3 slots as well, and on the very tip, on the bottom part of the axe, that is also customizable in the game, and you can swap out different things for various effects. So parts of the axe that are customizable seem to be customizable on the hammer as well, except we get even more because the top part of the hammer seems to have even more slots for more customizations. Now this also makes sense story wise. We know that Brock and Sindri created Leviathan Axe to rival and be equal power to Mjolnir. Here is a passage in the God of War novel explaining that. We also know that they created the Leviathan Axe to bring balance to the realms because Thor was going around killing giants left and right in Midgard. So they crafted Leviathan Axe and gave it to Laufey the Just. Here is that cutscene in the game.
How was your trip to Jotunheim?
Will you give them a little privacy? The kid just found out he's a giant. He doesn't need you interrogating him.
Bruh, you knew?
Oh, we knew Faye was the last guardian of the Jotnar left in Midgard. That's why we made her the axe. We hoped it could restore the balance of power.
After Thor went all berserk with our hammer.
Though in the end it seems she chose another path.
So story-wise, it makes sense why the hammer will have these customizations to it, but what does it mean for gameplay? I think it will be awesome if we get the hammer, because it'll give Kratos access to the 3 elements. Remember, there are 3 elements, and it is a gameplay mechanic in God of War 2018, even though people might forget. If you hit enemies, depending on the weapon, you get either 3 effects. You get a fire effect, you get an ice effect, and you get electricity effect. Now, the only way to really get electricity often is to use Atreus's bow, the electric arrows. However, if Kratos will use Mjolnir, it will give Kratos access to all 3 status elements. Fire from the Blades of Chaos, ice from the axe, and then electricity from the hammer, which would be pretty fucking awesome, I have to say so myself. But I will admit, this might seem a bit overwhelming for the player. I personally think God of War 2018 had the absolute perfect balance between the ice, axe and the fire blades, switching back and forth where it's very easy, and throwing in another weapon in there might feel a bit overwhelming to the player. So here I'm gonna make a theory now. Maybe we do pass down the Leviathan Axe to our boy Atreus. Now before you guys get all angry, I have to let you all know Atreus knows how to use the axe, and he knows how to use it pretty well. Remember that scene after we come out of the light. Atreus killed a ton of dark elves. When we come out of the light, we see piles and piles of bodies scattered all over the platform. And on top of one of the bodies is where Leviathan Axe is. Leviathan just killed all of those elves, and Atreus was holding it even at that age and took them all out when Kratos was stuck in the light. And judging by the amount of bodies, we can say he knows how to use it pretty well, even drawing out those powers that's in the axe that we just thought only Kratos could use, but perhaps Atreus had some training with it, who knows. And the way Cory Barlog makes his games and his stories, he seems to put things in the beginning of the story and kind of adds it towards the end, or it might make sense in the next game. So let's compare this to this scene that we see just before Kratos steps in the light, where Atreus is like, "You're giving me your Leviathan axe," and Kratos is like, "I'm letting you hold my axe. It is not a gift." Maybe in the next game it does end up being a gift. Perhaps Kratos gives Atreus the Leviathan axe after he gets the hammer. Of course, it was his mother that originally had the axe. Remember, the Leviathan axe was originally Faye's, as she tried her best to defend the giants from Thor and his rampage and the Aesir. When she couldn't be there no more, she passed down the Leviathan axe to Kratos, who used the axe to pretty much bring and protect Loki and bring him to Jotunheim. And perhaps in the next game, Atreus might be crowned King of the Giants. It's how I feel personally. I think Atreus is going to be a guardian of the giants. If you go into the Jotunheim, and you actually can get a lore marker of the giants, and they say once the indestructible falls, the guardian will return. Baldur was indestructible and he fell, and the next thing we did right after Baldur died is go to Jotunheim. So I think eventually Kratos will pass down the Leviathan axe to Atreus, and then Leviathan axe's replacement will be Mjolnir. So I think that's pretty interesting, and that's pretty much all my thoughts on Kratos using the Mjolnir. Those are all my thoughts. It makes sense gameplay wise, it makes sense lore wise with Brock and Sindri, and it makes sense for the future of these games with Atreus being the holder of Leviathan Axe, right? Again, and gameplay wise as well with the status effect gameplay mechanic. I'm so curious on how they're going to handle this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm going to be out of here. Thank you guys and girls for listening. Deuces.